Guys, I'm here with Stephen at the Enforce 25 in Nuremberg, and today we are speaking about the primary arms, the HTX1, and tell us what's special.
Everything.
Everything?
So yeah, we've been working on this thing for about 4 years now. We're really excited to be able to actually bring it to market finally here in 2025. So we announced it at SHOT Show, and this has been a lot of work from a lot of people. We actually moved into an entirely new building in Houston specifically for this about 3 years ago, and to be able to bring it to market, it's kind of like watching your kids grow up and finally go out into the world. So it's obviously an enclosed reflex designed to be slide mounted on pistols. There's a couple of very unique features that kind of set it apart from all the other reflexes that are out there.
Okay.
We have a new chassis system, so we're not necessarily adapting the gun to the optic that we're putting it on, like the traditional plate system that you see in a lot of guns, but we're adapting our optic to the platform you're mounting it to.
Okay.
So the optic itself doesn't really have a footprint. These chassis adapt the optic to whatever. So this one is the MOS compatible chassis, which you can see on the blue gun here. That window actually sits flush with the top of the slide. So you can actually co-witness stock height sights through it, and there's no need to go out and get like suppressor height sights. So you don't have to have this big boat anchor hanging off the front. On this blue gun, it's actually got suppressor height sights molded into it, and it like blocks half of that window. So being able to co-witness with stock height sights with a true full sight picture is a huge deal. So it gets rid of those kind of training scars where people that are transitioning to those taller sights with another optic that might sit a little bit taller, they present the gun and you always see them lift their chin because now they're sitting a half inch higher than they were before. So we get rid of all that kind of learning curve when it comes to transitioning to dots. Now it comes with 3 different chassis in the box. So this one, like I said, is the MOS. It also comes with the RMR-A and the RMR-B. So the RMR-A is that traditional slab cut RMR. The RMR-B has the raised bosses like the ZEV slides and things like that. So it'll adapt to about 95% of the optics ready guns that are out there right now. And we're also developing more chassis, so we'll be able
That's
to do.
good, the idea and good thing, because normally the platform it's bended itself, and the screws are too tiny. So I see that they're now big screws.
Yeah,
So-
we're using a lot heavier hardware.
Yeah.
It's a lot stronger. We're also using more of it. So there's actually 4 screws holding the
Exactly,
dot
I see it.
itself onto the chassis. So there is no shock that goes into that hardware. The way the chassis is designed, it's kind of a 3D system that cradles the optic itself. That's why we call it a chassis and not a plate. So anything that goes into the gun, so especially for like law enforcement, when it's sitting in a holster, I mean, this thing's banging against stuff all day and it's got a lot of side impact. All that transfers from the body to the chassis into the slide without going into the hardware, so you don't have to worry about your hardware.
And it's comfortable. You can also work on objects.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's we actually shot a video a couple of weeks ago back in Texas, and I had a barrel at the range, and I'm racking it hard enough off the barrel. I'm ripping chunks out of the barrel with it, and didn't lose zero, didn't do anything. Shot an 80-yard target with it right after. Very, very robust.
And it's still comfortable and a really soft surface.
It is for concealed carry specifically. So I'm right-handed. I carry appendix inside waistband. So I've got the smooth button side against me, no rub points or anything like that. If you're left-handed, we've melded all of the hard edges on the outside of the optic, so you don't have anything cutting into you if you're carrying left-handed either. And there's also no snag points on there, so you don't have to worry about snagging on stuff, pulling it out of the holster, or denting like around the battery compartment and pinching that battery cap closed. Everything's very smooth and just kind of shrugs off.
Can we make a short overview for the nerds for the specs?
Yeah, so we're at 1.9 ounces. Our window size is 20 millimeters by 15 millimeters, so it makes us a little bit bigger than some of the other enclosed reflexes that are out there on the market. And at under 2 ounces, we're not really adding much for reciprocating weight to the slide, so we're not going to slow the dwell time of that gun down. We use grade 10.2 hardware on all of the fasteners, so very, very strong with a very, very high shear strength. So you don't have to worry about those things breaking. 70-75 aluminum for the housing. We're using all U.S. glass. Everything in this thing is from the U.S. All materials, all machining. There's one part that's not, and it's the actual crystal of the emitter diode itself. You have to grow that. There's 2 places in the world that grow it. Neither one of them are in the U.S., so we actually grow our crystals here in Germany, and then we do all the soldering and potting to put them into the system back in the States. All the chassis are steel and runs off a CR2032 battery. We're getting about 15,000 hours of battery life in a medium setting to the dot.
Most important thing, because many guys, like instructors of my shooting range, losing the screws because sometimes they untighten to clean it perfectly. And do you bring some extra screws with you in the package?
Yeah, it comes with a bunch of screws in the box
Very
for all the
important.
mounting, but they're also commercially available screws.
Okay.
So if you do lose screws, they're not proprietary. You can actually go out and get the M6 or 632s,
That's good to
640s,
know.
whatever ones you've lost. Yep.
And one more last question. If a shooter has a bad day at the range, how many years warranty?
Forever.
Forever?
Yep. So if he's not on his game that day and he chucks that thing down range and manages to break it somehow, we'll repair it.
Of course, not on purpose, but we're shooting tactica. Can happen.
It can happen, yeah. I was actually running these we were doing some stuff with U.S. Marshals back in Texas and doing vehicle CQB, shooting through windshields and stuff like that. And we were watching dudes shear lugs and break all kinds of stuff. Ours held up well, but I mean, if something were to happen to it and it was to break, it's easy replacement. We'll get you a new unit.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.